Well, hey, why don't we go ahead and kick things off? We have new faces, so I think that maybe we could and should do like a round of introductions of who we are. Um, and Brian, Adrian, if you guys can hear me, and if you guys are looking to engage, please feel free to unmute yourselves. What we'll do is we'll just go around and I'll kind of call people off in a circle. And let's just, I guess, so first of all, I'm the host and moderator. My name's Alex Taberry. I work in the marketing side. So I help appliance repair businesses with like marketing and strategy and that kind of stuff. Let's go around. Maybe Bobby, you can kick it off. Let's just share our name, our business name, where we serve, like the service area, and I guess just at least one thing that you'd want to cover or talk about today.
Hey guys, I'm Bobby Howard. I own Pace Appliance, St. Louis, Missouri. 20 years in, and I just started Pace Appliance almost a month ago, and I'm a Division I trainer for Samsung USA before I came here. That's about it. I'll pass them on.
Hey, Bobby, call off one thing. Like if we could talk about one topic that you wanted to talk about tonight, what would it be?
Part availability. That's actually starting to become a real thing.
Cool. Why don't we go ahead and pass it on over to Doug, if you don't mind.
He's muted.
Yeah, we're having some trouble hearing you, Doug. Let me try to unmute you.
There you go.
Cool.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Gotcha. So I started in 1988 repairing appliances. So that was machines that were built from the 50s to the 80s, and they were a much different breed, of course, right? Simple, basic. You could have every part on the truck and fix or repair anything in one trip most of the time. So I got off the road about maybe 6 years ago, and I run a company called Action Appliance. We've got 12 techs right now. We do pretty much 99% or all COD work.
There you go.
And yeah. And I'm a couple topics, just, how do you guys find your tech support if you don't have the actual tech support? What's your strategies in getting your diagnosis right in the quick and fast manner in the house, So things like that.
Cool. What's a service area for Action Appliance?
Connecticut, Rhode Island, and a little bit of Massachusetts.
Nice. Heather, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Heather. I work for Doug for Action Appliance Repair. I've been there for 6 years. I work in the office. So I'm not out on the roads, but I do the warranty claims for Bosch because we are Bosch certified for warranties. And yeah, I'm kind of the MacGyver of the company. I have my hands dipped in a little bit of everything, and I try and help where I can.
Cool. Any particular topics that you want to make sure we try to cover?
Nope. I'm just here to listen and learn and maybe pick up something that when I'm talking to one of the other techs, I can, pass it along.
Cool. Brian and or Adrian, if either of you would like to participate, please feel free to unmute yourself and share with the group.
Hi,
So
my name is
Brian. I guess Adrian's going to go. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Brian,
Brian,
go ahead and go first. Yeah.
So I too work with Action Appliance along with Doug and Heather. Been with Action since 2009. I worked for a company prior to that for a couple years. I do service work now. In my spare time, I try my hand at service management. The plan the plan was to go more full-time towards being service management with the administrative side of the business. We had a plan in place that we've talked about for many years, and it came to fruition January, February, and then COVID pandemic kind of ruined that. We had a couple technicians that were very concerned about going into strangers' homes. So Doug and Jay asked me to go back on the road full time and then some. But we're all surviving. This is crazy year for us in the industry and every other business and family situation out there. I was kind of excited when Doug shared this Zoom talk meeting last week. I wasn't available last week, but I think this is a great forum. Like Bobby had said about going to the manufacturer conferences, I've been able to go to the past 5 or 6 of them, the various different locations. And one of my favorite time is the early morning brainstorming, where a group of technicians just sit around and, you know, they just talk about highlights. The classroom looking at dishwashers are kind of nice. And like Bobby said, we might not see that issue or that machine for many years, but it's always good times to go see those seminars, get some information, and network with other businesses, other technicians, other manufacturers across the country. It's a great source of information, and that really helps build individually and companies to be able to go to these seminars, whether it's a Zoom meeting or the conferences. But anyways, thanks for inviting us. Not sure if I have a hot topic. There's just so many to list. I just thought I would just listen in on the meeting. And I apologize for no video. I didn't brush my hair. So I didn't feel free to. Yeah. All right.
No, you're totally fine. And thanks for sharing. I can only imagine, you know, because I've been hearing across the board in Facebook groups and talking with business owners, aspiring business owners, those that are trying to set out on their own, just the demand is through the roof right now. So I can imagine, you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I can imagine how the situation may have gone with the plan in place and needing to kind of backtrack, at least for the time being, from that transition from technician to service manager. And Doug, I can only imagine from your perspective how challenging it may have been with, you know, with people's, you know, concerns and wanting to change things up.
Yeah, yeah.
But cool. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Adrian, would you like to introduce yourself and share with the group?
Hi, my name is Adrian. You'll have to excuse the accent. I'm from Europe originally. I'm up in Canada right now, north of Toronto. I'm just a rookie right now. I have some exposure to the industry, like I've done repairs. I've taken some courses online from Samurai. And just speaking of topics, I don't know, I'll go with whatever the topic is, I guess. Somewhat interested in marketing and Google Ads and Google My Business, all that stuff. But whatever is, I don't know, it's probably been discussed before, so I don't want to impose or anything.
No, that's totally fine. And I'm taking some notes, so I'm happy to, you know, happy to bring the topic to some online marketing. Adrian, are you, and by the way, your English is just fine, perfect as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Are you working in appliance repair right now, or are you looking to get into it? Where do you stand on that front?
So the way I stand, I come from a different kind of trade. I used to do remodeling and stuff, and I got interested in appliances. I worked for a company last year, very limited time. I think about just over a month. I didn't quite like it because it's kind of, you know, the approach, at least here with many companies, is you have very limited. You just ride along for about a week or two, and then you just go in the field and you know, deal with it and call the master technician all the time or whatnot. And it was really frustrating for me, and I decided to take a step back, do some like theory, like take some courses and stuff, and accidentally got into appliance installations, actually, like really high end, like Sub-Zeros, Mieles, you know, all that stuff, and worked there for about half a year, and then COVID hit and it's all slowed down. And after that, I'm trying to get back into repairs. I was working with a company some of you may know, maybe not. It's called AMJ Marketing, and I worked for them. I worked with them for roughly a month. It's not too bad, but it has its issues. And right now I'm starting my own LLC. So basically a one-man show. I know it's a common position. Many techs say that you should work for somebody for several years before going on your own, but I don't have that luxury. My strategy is take just a few calls, document myself before I go, and just you know, deal with it. So far I didn't have any. I never had the situation where I just backed up. So I always saw it from.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me like you definitely have at least some good experience. And yeah, and you know, I would say that this group, and you're obviously involved in the Facebook groups, you know, very good resources for, you know, any and all of the kind of stuff that you would run into. You know, Bobby is in a similar situation. I mean, he has years and years of experience, but he's in a similar situation with sort of new business startup. And something that you might find valuable, I know others in a similar situation to you have expressed some interest, is so I'm helping him with online marketing, and we're documenting the process. And we're going to be putting together this short video series essentially called How to Start an Appliance Repair Business in 30 Days. And his 30-day mark is coming up in 5 days now. So definitely.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that you wanted to talk about some online marketing, so I'm definitely happy to, you know, talk a little bit about that, and not like, you know, make you wait until all that video editing is done. I have not heard of AMG Marketing. I don't know if anybody else has. What are they all about?
So the basically what it is you just pay for the incoming calls, right? So like for leads, there are calls that are qualified and unqualified. For example, if somebody is just calling looking for parts, that's an unqualified call. And if somebody is thinking about getting it repaired, then it's a qualified call. Mm-hmm. So you're not being charged for the unqualified, but for the qualified calls, you're being charged $35 US every incoming call.
Yeah,
it's a bit high, especially here in Canada. It's like 50 Canadian.
Okay.
And but when you do get the job, it's not too bad. But they're sometimes they're like tire kickers. Mm-hmm. Pardon for the word, and people just calling you just basically to let you know that they're probably gonna buy a new one. And the other issue for me personally is that here in Canada you have to have a gas license to service gas appliances. Mm-hmm. And I got quite a few calls from people that had gas appliances, and I just had to turn them down, but I still have to pay for those calls.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just reflect on this
Just
briefly.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just to be clear, I think their service actually is quite good. Like their support is excellent. Whenever you have an issue, you just call them. They respond immediately. In that sense, they're quite good.
Nice. I will reflect on that or share a little about that briefly, but then I do want to get to some of these other topics that are a little bit more repair and service oriented. So you're going to find that there are lead generation companies. AMG is AMG Marketing is a lead generation company. I know that Bobby has worked with another one called the Appliance Repairman. They're a lead generation company. And the big difference between lead generation companies and, for example, like a marketing agency is that you typically will be paying a flat cost for the leads. And what I find to be the biggest differentiator is while these lead generation companies can be a little bit easier in the sense that, and convenient in the sense that you kind of just pay and then a lead shows up, you don't have as much control over the messaging. Like, for example, if you were to be doing something like Google Ads or some of your more in-house marketing channels like Facebook or using your Google My Business listing, you know, you can communicate that you don't do gas, or you can communicate and put out certain messaging that is going to put your brand name and position your brand more appropriately for whatever direction and whatever goals you have for the business. And then also, you know, with an agency, it's in their best interest to essentially bring you in more leads at a better cost. So you have these situations where, you know, your cost per lead right now is $35. A company like the Appliance Repairman, and Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, but your lead cost is your service call fee, and that's fixed. With an agency, you know, as that agency does better work, the cost per lead goes down, and you're able to benefit from that. So
75% of what your service call is. So if your service call is 75, I mean, you pretty much get $15, $20 to go out there. They don't want to have it fixed. You pretty much wasted your time.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're able to work with a good agency, you know, you have the advantage of being able to benefit from those increased margins. Again, if they're a good agency, there's a lot of bad ones out there. But yeah, anyway, thank you, Adrian, for sharing and introducing yourself. TK, I believe that you are just listening in, but if you wanted to chime in, we're just finishing up our introductions. And
excuse me, may I add something?
Please.
Yes, I just wanted to make a mention. TK Cousins is actually responsible for getting me into Appliance. It's watching his videos on YouTube that inspired me. So, yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, TK.
Nice, nice.
Cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know that.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know that voice. Where's he at?
Yeah, yeah.
There he is.
What's up, y'all?
How's it going? Hey, TK,
Oh, man.
how are things going for you, man? Haven't seen you for a while.
Busy. So I had to get out of the living room. I'm gonna come out here on the porch. How's everybody doing?
Doing well. It seems like everybody is busy. You know, before you had hopped in, Doug and the rest of the folks over at Action were talking about how they've just been overwhelmed with demand and have had to make some changes.
Yeah, it's crazy. Me and my buddy Austin, we just trained our first tech and got him going, and everything's going great. But he's doing good, and we're just swamped. You know, running more calls than I want to a day, and just trying to maintain the growth of the business while we still try to provide the most excellent service we can.
What for you is like the most important thing for maintaining the growth of the business? I know this is a challenge for a lot of people out there.
For me, the biggest thing is, like I just said, maintaining that excellent customer service. Because I don't care how big we get. I don't want, if I can maintain excellent customer service with 3 techs, but at 4 techs, the customer service starts going down, then 3 techs it is. And my biggest thing is getting people in the right places to help me and my business partner to maintain things. And that's what we're working on now. I got an office girl. She's doing a great job. The first tech's doing a great job. And we're already talking about getting another tech. And we trained this tech from scratch. So we're now debating whether we want to do that again, which it was, it was expensive to train him. He had paid training, or just hire a tech that's ready to go.
Now, what's the size of your team now? It sounds like you're at about 4 employees?
Yeah, 3 techs and 1 office lady.
Okay, nice. How far are you scheduling out right now?
About a week.
Yeah.
You do 25 calls a day?
Yeah, 8 to 10 calls a day.
25 total, yeah.
What about you, Bobby? How far are you scheduling out?
Right now I'm booking into Monday.
Okay.
But
Not bad for, 3 weeks.
well, today I only did 3 calls. That was it.
Okay.
But they were 2 LG sealed systems and 1 freezerator. So yeah, it was a sizzler tonight. The payout was nice.
How about and it might look a little different for you guys over at Action Appliance, since you're in multiple states, but I guess on average, how far are you guys out right now?
In certain areas, 2 weeks since March, and it kind of fluctuates. So Heather, I think it's 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks for every area right now, right?
So cool.
The full next week is completely full, and half for all of next week are booked up. So our challenges are a call back, or trying to get the part installs in a timely manner.
Okay.
And the areas that I've noticed, the areas in Connecticut that are hardest hit by the coronavirus, we are booking almost 3 weeks out in those areas because no companies really want to go out and do service right now.
Okay. Are the rest of you guys, like TK and Bobby, are you guys experiencing anything like that? Does it seem like there are other, this is the first I've heard of it, where some companies aren't wanting to go out and therefore the demand has increased? So far, I've heard that everybody's at home and that's why the demand has increased.
Yeah, I mean, home activity. Summertime is always going to be, appliance, busy streak, just because the home activity has doubled in the homes. So when that happens, more stuff breaks and we get busy. Since Corona, it's been since March, February. So our summer kind of extended into almost 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a gold mine right now for us, but I don't know. You guys are doing a Corona response pre-screen, I'm assuming. Yeah. Yep. I do the same thing. Have they left the state? Does anyone have any coughing, flu-like symptoms, fever? And they wipe down the product prior to the technician coming out, and will the technician have access to a sink? They can wash their hands and take care of everything prior to doing the repair and after.
We've got the same thing. It's the same story there.
Yeah, it's about a 4-minute script.
Yeah, it can be a bit long, yeah.
Yep.
Well, besides, the increase of some of the companies not wanting to go out to service, we've also seen a shortage of appliances, because we also sell appliances. So you know, every other day we're getting a message from our sales division that we can't get top loaders, we can't get front loaders, can't get freezers. And so people that have vowed that the next time this breaks, I'm buying new, we're getting phone calls from these people. And it's not that these appliances shouldn't be repaired. It's just some people have a value of age. You know, if it's 10 years old, it shouldn't be repaired. And my standpoint, it's lasted 10 years, proven technology. This one component failed, we replace it. I'm hoping you're going to get another 3 to 5 years, and I just saved you hundreds of dollars throwing it out and buying a new one. So we've seen an increase of call volume just because people have been looking to buy an appliance, but just can't get one, besides companies that aren't servicing.
Is there any kind of like fear factors going into your guys' approvals? We have the part, we can fix it right now, or you can wait 2 weeks to get one, you know, when they get it in stock?
Initially, you know, we carry a good supply of fast moving parts, but obviously you can't carry every control board, every valve, every pump. You know, for the most part, you know, a pump's a pump, a fan's a fan back in the day, you know, but now you got DC fans thrown in there. Everything's not streamlined, but our goal is first time completes. We have a pretty good company first time complete rating, you know, somewhere between 75–80% in most cases. And it used to be, hey, we're out there on a Monday at noon, we place the order by 3 o'clock that same day, and the customer receives the part in a day or two because we ship our customer parts direct to the customer. And it just saves on the phone tags, you know. If we came to our office or to a technician's home, then we have to try to get a hold of the customer. But if the part goes to their customer, they call us, and we got a full office staff that can handle the volume of calls. So now we're seeing that the vendors nationwide are jammed up. They don't have the manpower. The parts aren't being set up for delivery the same day we place the order. Some days 2 and 3 days. They haven't even processed the order. And then UPS started to have some delays. So it was turning out from a 1 to 3 day turnaround from a part order to now a week or two. You know, almost a week to get the part to the customer, and then we're so backlogged that we can't get back to these. And Heather and our office staff have been trying to strategize, you know, how do we hold a spot for a customer that's already prepaid or, you know, put a deposit down on a repair. We don't want to lose them. And we want to give that great customer service. It's been a challenge this year.
How are you guys?
And I hope it don't fall apart.
How are you guys pre-routing your lineups? Are you like zoning them out and then you know, scheduling, you know, techs in certain zones to be able to, you know, maximize the potential versus logistics?
Yeah, the technicians are assigned an area and a certain amount of stops a day that they'll do. Depending on the technician, it's going to range between 7 and 9, depending on who the guys are. And, you know, and I don't know, I'd love to hear if you guys have a solution, because you'd like your old customers, your previous customers, the faithful Action, to have spots for them when they call in. But I don't know how to do it. It's just, you can't leave empty slots going into the day tomorrow because you're booking out 2 weeks. It just seems kind of scary. And we're not really a big fan of airlines and doctors overbooking and knowing that you're going to cancel somebody. And our cancellation rate, we've tracked that for years. And the cancellation rate during the slower season is like 12% a week, you know, type of thing. Right now it's like, it's 30%. So it makes sense. If you're going to book 9 days out, if they can find somebody sooner, it's not the type, people aren't the type of people are different. They're not going to call you and say, hey, half the time they're not going to call you and say, I found somebody sooner. So now my technician schedule sometimes blows up and there's 2 cancellations in a row, you know? So a lot of challenges.
looking over, like, my previous, I had no problem, running, a 5 to 10 man crew. What's the fear in leaving an open slot?
Well,
If-
if I have 11 techs, right, 12 techs right now, that's 12 open spots that we're not going to book when. So today at 2 o'clock, we're going to leave 12 open spots for tomorrow for what if ever happens, right? A part install comes in, a refrigerator callback. That means that the phone's still ringing off the hook. And so that's 12 times 5. That's like 60 calls that we're going to not book and book farther and farther out. Don't you? Is that making sense?
No, it makes
If I reduce the amount of calls that they're scheduled to do, we'll probably fill it, but we're still going to be booking even farther out is my fear.
Right, but having an open window, prime example, my last company, we had, the technician's going to run 8, but technically they will have 9. By 2 o'clock, that 9th call will be booked. Whether or not that's going to be a fresh kill, or since you guys ship your parts directly to your customer, that's going to be a customer part install, which they already have the part. So it's not an extra trip for the technician. It's just throwing them onto the route. But this way, you're able to have a rotating ability to be able to pull your ones in. They're still going to run their 9 calls. It's just you're only booking 8 and then having a last minute fill in for whatever one you're going to need. You're not losing money. You're just
I know that. Yeah.
You're just gaining the ability to be able to fill in a slot with either or a part install and be able to weed through your list a little faster.
So when do you start to fill that freebie call you got? The next day, like tomorrow morning at 7:30 when we open? Is that when we start to fill those open slots?
Well,
Or do you save them for the emergency situation?
However it goes, usually that last call is usually filled in the same day. So if this customer couldn't make it, there was a cancellation, this one can be, they'll greatly appreciate it, or there's a fresh kill or a recall, on a refrigerator, and the customer's pissed off because their $200 worth of food's gone bad. You have that ability to be able to float. You're not so jammed tight where not shit I can do.
Yeah.
I mean, you never want to tell a customer that. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So that, Bobby, that's always been the model of Action. We even advertise same day service, next day service, and for many years that has worked perfectly until this year, unfortunately. And losing 3 technicians back in March didn't help. I don't know that we're making it up. Doug was just talking to me tonight about a large company that they laid off 14 technicians. How can we relocate them is my answer, question. But yeah, on paper, what you're saying is exactly how we would love to operate. And we used to operate very smoothly. Heather's been with us, almost as long as I have. And this is just crazy times. I almost wanted to come to this meeting just so we could vent to somebody else instead of venting to my superior or to each other, because we're all just frustrated because we don't have a solution. We don't have an answer. It's not running as smooth as it used to. We're holding it together. Don't misunderstand anything that I'm saying. We're holding it together, but it's not that world-class service that the owner, Jay, has always strived for. And we hit the mark 95% of the time, I would say.
So
but when you get, one customer a day out of 100 that might be upset with, the technician didn't call 30 minutes before he came. Little things like that. You're going to hang me out to dry for the little things,
So last year I ran Indianapolis and I had 6 technicians and we ran about 65 calls a day. So, I mean, you can look at the average on there, and I was booked out last year, 2 weeks in advance. Parts coming in, customers getting pissed off because we couldn't schedule them in time, or worst possible case scenario, we ordered a part, got there, and found out that part did not take care of it, and they have to wait another 2 weeks, because that's when you get a hot customer. And yeah, we all know that. But the real struggle came for how can you inspire your technicians to work harder without having to, like really, bust their balls and get them on the clock. And incentives, it was what came into play. So, and especially if you guys are COD, your technicians are pulling what gross weekly 4,000 to 6,000 per tech average.
Like 6 to 10, and then the newer guys might do like 4,500 to 5,000.
Oh, good. So you're in a better market. So then you set a salary cap for your technician, and here's your if your beginning techs would be 18.5, your more experienced techs would be 26.5. You set that goal and you say, look guys, anything you guys make above this for that month, I'm gonna give you 15% of it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you make 32 for that month or if you make 18,600, you'll get 15% of $100, so you'll get 15% of 7,000. Now, granted, you're already doing your normal work volume, so anything over that month is just considered, extra profit. But at the same time, you're motivating your technicians to be able to take an extra call. Hey, I'm in this area. I can do an extra 1 or 2, and especially with the volume when you're dealing with 10 technicians and over a 20 workday month, and you ran an extra 120 calls that month, the company makes an extra, $72,000.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, we've been a commissioned company since the 90s.
Right.
And the difference is it's a generational thing. The money isn't the motivation for many. It's more of time and balance in life. And so we used to have an on-call service. So for instance, the on-call would be, I'm sorry, our schedule is full today, but I can have a technician out today, and the emergency on-call rate is going to be $225 plus the repair. Right. And the customers would say go. So then, as a technician, I would get half of that for going, $125. Then if the repair, let's say it's a GE motherboard for $400, I'd get my commission on that job as well. So I would get like about $80 to do that job, plus the 220. So I'd make $300 in that one call on that day. On top of that, when you do 8 on calls, you get a vacation day. Mm-hmm. And so in those years, I would make an extra $6,000 to $8,000 a year on calls, and I would accrue an extra 2 to 5 vacation days. We've whittled that down. We've gotten rid of on-call service. No technician wants on-call service. My technicians want to be home. I'm going to just kind of, yes, they want to be home by 5. That's what they want. Now, when I go to the USA conferences, this is not an action problem. This is an industry thing that guys, big companies, Cody's, all those guys, they're giving them 8 calls. Landers Appliance, they give them 7, 8 calls. That's it. When you get them done, you can go home. And so they're kind of accommodating those employees. And so I'm not seeing that motivation, Bobby, to make the extra money. I don't think the money does it for a lot of guys anyway. So pretty challenging, head scratcher, right?
People, when you have a technician, when a technician is not, driven by money, there has to be something. There has to be, and if it's family and he's just trying to support time, and support his, pay his bills, I get it. But when you have a technician that has a thirst, those are the techs you love to have. Because those are the ones
absolutely.
Those will be your workforce.
Yep. I've got a couple of them. Right.
Yeah. Right now I just opened up Pace, so it's just me. So I run calls, and I'm happy. I don't have to fill my board. I don't have to, if I went off at 2:00, no problem. Granted, that never happens, but
yeah.
The idea is there.
Yeah, we've got about 15 more minutes, and I know that Brian started to touch on this, and Bobby had wanted to talk about parts availability. Bobby, was there anything else that you wanted to throw out or ask, bounce around ideas around with the other guys? You know, what's your challenge with parts availability? Where are you getting stuck?
A lot of it's going to be special order item. You know, it's like my standard, my pre-programmed response I tell my customers is 2 to 10 days. If it comes in sooner, I'm a good guy. I didn't lie to you. You know, if it doesn't, well, I mean, this is the reality of it, and we'll track it and figure out where it's at. But leave no expectation beyond, you know, here's what's going on, here's what it is. I'll be more than happy to do it. I'll be more than happy to put you guys back in as soon as I possibly can. But this is the reality of what we're, you know, in. And if they say anything like it, can it come any sooner? And I just refer to, you know, go to the grocery store and grab a roll of toilet paper. Yeah. See how that flies. It's not there.
If you tell the story, you're good. If you explain to the customer what
Right.
the reality is and what the challenges are, and that's some training for me with some of my guys. You know, they have to change up their script and warn people. You know, it's a tendency as a technician for action anyway to really make it sound like we're going to be back very soon, because they might say, well, how long is it going to take? It could take a few days. I think I'll go buy a new one. And then they're losing out on a repair. So they want to say, well, it's in New York. I see it here on Marcone. So you'll probably receive it tomorrow. You give us a call. They're giving that impression that we're going to get right back out, you know? But if our guys are sharing the story that you can't get a stainless steel French door right now, you know, and let them know, and I'm so sorry, but you might have to wait an extra few days to get it fixed. We're being honest, and we're displaying the whole story, which is the challenge, right?
See, my background is I love 5 stars. You know, every company I've ever been in, they don't beat me. I get more 5 stars than any tech. It's just because when I'm there, it's, I don't know, silver tongue, whatever. You know, it's just you just be able to talk to the customers right. You make them feel friendly. You give them one extra bit. That's always been my rule.
Yeah.
You know, your dishwasher, do you guys have any problems with that? You know, just make conversation while you're there. You're not wasting time. You're just multitasking. It's not like you're sitting there thinking about your grocery list when you're in there fixing that fridge anyway.
That's right. And that's why, Adrian, you're new. You say you're new to the industry, but I can just tell by the things you've said and your mindset that this is not just about being mechanically inclined and knowing how to take a Samsung dishwasher apart. It's about taking care of the customer and having that big picture perspective and that mindset, you know. And like my guy Brian here, I rarely get any complaints or calls or misunderstandings or customers that are frustrated because they didn't understand exactly what's going to happen, you know. And then you have to adapt your script every week, right? You got to change up what you say when it doesn't work anymore, or times have you know, are moving on, right? So yeah, it sounds like, Bobby, you and Brian are a lot alike in the sense that you're focused on the customer, but you're going to take care of that appliance while you're in the house, right?
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, you know, I'm hearing this across the board, and I just want to, I don't know, really highlight it. Communication and setting expectations accurately is key. You know, it's key. TK is talking about how his main thing is keeping customer service high. You know, I mean, that's how you do it, is make sure that expectations are in line with reality, and that you can communicate that in a friendly and respectful way.
So what are you guys doing about parts like you're trying to find them that are back ordered? I mean, like nationwide back order. Evap cover 609C, David Adam 1415, you know, A leak kit. What's some other plastic ones? That stupid overlay for that Frigidaire oven.
Well, I mean, there's only a couple that really come to mind, like the Samsung drain tube kits and stuff. I mean, when we see them, we try to buy them, but I think it's just navigating, once again, that there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, we use My Parts Help, which lists, you know, 15 vendors, and I've bought from eBay way more.
What was that? What was that you just said?
My Parts Help, which is the blue book. You can do a parts search and you got all the vendors pop up nationwide. Now, I don't have accounts with Fox and some of these other Catchwell. But I'll buy them from them, and we might not get a wholesale rate, but it gives us a chance to have our customer, tell the technician right in the home will be able to tell the customer how, whether it's on back order or not. Ideally, I want the tech to tell the customer right then and there, hey, I just did a nationwide search, and unfortunately, it's not in stock anywhere, which means I'm going to buy it from my vendor. He's going to get it from the dealer, the manufacturer. So that could be 2 weeks. And if it's Viking, it could be 2 months. We don't know. Would you still like to go ahead with it? But it's a great tool to help you figure out your situation for parts.
What are you doing as far as your price quotes? Are you using any particular site? Like for me, example, I use Reliable. What Reliable shows is what I charge. I buy it wholesale, I sell it retail.
Yeah, we use Marcone's retail, and again, it's set into our subscription to My Parts Help. So when we pull up that flat rate, it's using Marcone's retail.
Okay.
Yep. So same thing, right? I mean, are you marking up your retail a little bit? I can't really, because Marcone's retail is through the roof. So
Yeah,
it's good enough for us. Yeah.
Reliable is actually higher than Marcone's.
Is it? All right. Yeah. I mean, Reliable is our second source because Reliable is more Midwest and West. And
Right.
on the East Coast, Marcone we're really pre-corona. And even now we're all about getting it to the customer in a day or two at the most.
Yeah, I hate ordering from Reliable, but I will use them for the price guide every time.
Sure.
Here's the part. Here's where it is. It shows it's available, and then I hop on Marcone and I order my part.
Well, again, with My Parts Help, you can view your pricing with all the vendors, but primarily we're Marcone, Reliable, Tribbles, which is East Coast. Those are the three that we use for the mainstream brands.
Are those local to your area?
Sort of, yeah. Reliable is 2 days out in like Indiana or something like that, maybe 3 days out. But Albany and Providence, Baltimore, that's all 1 day for us.
Yeah. See,
where are you out of, Bobby?
I'm out of St. Louis, but like I just came from Indianapolis, where we had API, Marcone, and Reliable all.
Okay.
So, I mean,
that's great.
That was a smorgasbord of first day completes. But here in St. Louis, I only have the availability for Marcone locally.
Gotcha. Well, we don't have anybody locally, by the way. There's nothing in our state to pick up parts.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, so everything.
No, there's nothing in our state. Everything's gone now. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You can probably talk to your vendor about that.
But here's the deal. 12 o'clock, it could be at the customer's house at 9 or 10 or 12 o'clock the next day from New York if I order it. You know what I mean? So.
Cool. We only have a handful of minutes left, so I don't want to try to bring up start any new topics, just because I want to be respectful of everyone's time. But I don't know if anybody had anything else they wanted to throw out there and chat about, or we can always push it over to the next week.
I'd just like to say real quick, thanks, Alex, for keeping these going, and apologize for my absence. Lately, I've just been swamped.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Consistency is key as far as I see it, and no apologies necessary. I'm happy to hear that you're so busy. I think when we first chatted on this first call, I think it was just you, or maybe you and your partner, and now you're at 4. So that's some awesome growth in a short amount of time. But yeah, okay, why don't we go ahead and wrap it up? I'll be back here same time next week. Thank you all. Like I always say, the value of these calls really depends on who shows up and how you guys contribute. So thank you all. And Adrian, sorry we didn't get the chance to get onto some marketing, but feel free to, if you want to message me on Facebook, I'm happy to, send some info your way. And if you're here next week, I'll make sure that we make some time for that.
Thanks for facilitating, Alex. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, thanks again. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you guys on the Facebook groups, and I'll be back here same time next week.
Thanks,
All right.
Alex.
Keep the hustle, guys. Thanks.
Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye, Heather.